Okay, we're gonna do it.
One bullet, 13 seconds. That's all the footage shows. But there's more. And by the end of this, you'll see every frame they didn't.
A lot of you know that yesterday we did go to see the body.
There is no trust between us, between the community with the police. To bring the trust up, they need to see NX one-to-one in prison.
That's it.
Then from there we can start bringing trust between police and the community.
Chris Kaba was no stranger to London's estate politics. Born into the turf lines of Lambeth, where postcodes are boundaries, and sometimes death sentences, Kaba wasn't just another face in the crowd. By 16, he was already recording drill music under the name Maddox, part of a group the police knew as the 67 Gang out of Brixton Hill. To the public, they were rappers, but behind the bars and videos, they were being watched for knives, drugs, firearms, and retaliation. Just 6 days before his death, a man named Brandon Malucci, connected to the rival 17 Gang from Wandsworth, was shot in the legs inside a nightclub in Hackney. CCTV captured a man opening fire and escaping into a black Audi Q8. That shooter, police believed, was Chris Kaba, and that same Audi, registration YF19NMM, would return to the spotlight in less than a week. September 4th, 2022. Police received reports of a man with a shotgun near Brixton. 3 men left the scene in 2 cars. One of them, the same black Audi. Detectives flagged it, began surveillance, and quietly followed it through Camberwell. They didn't know who was behind the wheel, but they were told to expect a firearm. The plan was clear: wait until the next night, gather resources, prepare for a stop, get the helicopter in the air. No rushing in, enforce stop extraction. September 5th, just after 10 p.m, Streatham Hill, Kirkstall Gardens. Police block the Audi's front. Another unit traps the rear. 8 officers jump out, rifles raised, shouting, "Ahmed, police, show your hands." Kaba's left hand goes up, right hand stays on the wheel. The engine roars. He reverses, crunch, hits the police vehicle behind him, then accelerates, slams the front car, tries again. 6 seconds later, a shot tears through the windscreen. Chris Kaba is hit in the head. He dies in the hospital the next morning. That shot was fired by Sergeant Martin Blake, a trained firearms officer with more than a decade in the job. No gun was found inside the car, but what was found mattered. A balaclava under the seat, gunshot residue on Kaba's left sleeve, a locked phone that once decrypted showed messages talking about settling scores and ops from 17. Toxicology showed traces of cocaine in his blood, enough to spark adrenaline, enough to blur a line. The investigation took 6 months, and when the IOPC charged Blake with murder, everything changed. More than 100 firearms officers handed in their permits. They said they'd lost faith, that if split-second decisions meant jail time, nobody would be willing to carry a gun. The trial at the Old Bailey gripped the entire country. The prosecution said the shot wasn't necessary, that Kaba was boxed in. The car moved slowly, no one was in real danger. But the defense, they said Blake acted because he believed, even for just a second, that his colleague's life was at risk. The law doesn't require proof of threat, only the belief of one. The jury saw bodycam footage. They heard forensic experts confirm the Audi's minimum impact speed was 8 miles per hour, enough to crush someone against another vehicle. They saw that Blake didn't aim for the head. He fired one shot, shoulder height, because that's how the rifle was positioned. He testified under oath. "I didn't want to kill him, I wanted to stop him. I regret the outcome, not the decision." The jury took less than 3 hours. They came back with a not guilty verdict, and only then were the rest of the facts made public. Chris Kaba wasn't just a passenger in the world of gangs. He was at the wheel. He was a core member of 67. He performed in videos glorifying knives, revenge, and retaliation. He was on active investigation for the nightclub shooting. He'd previously served time. He'd been shot before, in what many believe was an earlier feud with 17. Still, the court never heard that. Because of reporting restrictions. Because it might prejudice the jury. So when the verdict came out, London was split. One side said, the truth came out. The other said, his past didn't justify a death sentence. Outside court, Chris Kaba's mother whispered one word, shame, no screams, no anger, just silence. But across Brixton and Tottenham, the noise was loud. Protesters chanted, unarmed means no excuse. Others asked, would the bullet have been fired if he was white? The statistics raised the volume. Since 2001, 48% of people shot by the Met were black. Even though black Londoners only make up 13% of the population, and no Met officer ever has been convicted for a fatal shooting. The Met Commissioner praised the verdict, but admitted, we've got a long way to go to rebuild trust.
No firearms officer sets out on duty intent on ending a life. I worry about the lack of support officers face for doing their best. But most of all, I worry for the public. The more we crush the spirit of good officers, the less they can fight crime. That risks London becoming less safe.
Meanwhile, Blake, once suspended, is reinstated. His promotion comes weeks later. The IOPC announces a separate misconduct hearing. Kaba's family calls the verdict a betrayal. They say, we won't stop fighting.
We will not rest until the people responsible for Chris's death are held fully accountable. Thank you.
Inside the gangs, things go quiet, for a time. Tributes to Kaba appear online. Rival crews mock the failed retaliation attempt, but drill lyrics stop mentioning real names, because everyone saw what happened in just 13 seconds. Some say the system failed Chris Kaba, others say the system worked, but here's what's not in question. Chris Kaba was unarmed, he was shot in the head. He was a father-to-be. He was wanted for a nightclub shooting. He rammed police vehicles. He died, and still, the debate is nowhere near over. So I'll leave you with the question no one in that courtroom could answer. If the car had stopped, would the trigger still have been pulled? Tell me what you think in the comments.
This case has had an enormous impact on many. Chris Kaba's family and friends continue to grieve the loss of a loved one, and today will be enormously difficult for them. Today's verdict is significant. No firearms officer sets out on duty intent on ending a life. I worry about the lack of support officers face for doing their best. But most of all, I worry for the public. The more we crush the spirit of good officers, the less they can fight crime. That risks London becoming less safe.